Well, hi there, everybody. Welcome back. And we have some interesting news for you here today as we take on Shanxi Longjing once again on the road. The news that we have is that Kwon Hyuk-kyu, Mr. Kwon, is upset. And he's upset because he feels like he's not starting enough games. It's ridiculous. He's not starting every game because we have 2 to 3 games a week because of the schedule. But he sees himself as a absolutely important superstar player and wants to start every single time out. The funny part about this is that he's actually started more games than everybody else in the club. But that's apparently not enough for him. Anyway, this is Football Manager logic, and so it is. Lee Jin-young now with the throw-in. Let's see if we can win another one here. Over to Para, back to Lee Jin-young. Lee Jin-young over to Han Jin for a shot on goal, and a little bit ill-advised there, I think, from Han Jin. I don't think that he needed to go as quickly as he did on that one. Unfortunately for him, it just wasn't happening. Lee Jin-young back to Kim Yong-il. Kim Yong-il now over to Mr. Kwon. Mr. Kwon, let's see if his upset feelings cause him to play poorly. Nope, back to Fan Xiang, and that's an easy goal from Fan Xiang. Second goal of the season for Fan Xiang. And we are up 1-0 here on 2 minutes. And I hate to tell you this, but I think it's going to be another one of those games. But you've probably become used to this by now. Mr. Kwon did a very good job of pulling the defense up with him and then finding that back pass. Feinstein with a good shot hitting that top corner despite having 3 men on him. And we are deservedly up 1-0, and it looks like our run of form will continue. However, I do worry. I worry because we're playing against Tianjin in our next match in the Chinese FA Cup. And Tianjin have a side that's probably better than ours, and we're definitely not going to be able to win like this. So pay attention and definitely tune into the next video, and it may be a little bit more exciting here. I think there was Para there winning that one back and was intercepted. Now, Lee Jin-young, who still is sort of tenderly coming back, not quite with the match fitness he needs, over to Jonovic, and then Mr. Kwon, back to Park Myung-sung. And Park Myung-sung has a go at it and not quite happening. And they've popped the ball right there over our heads, and it looks like Shanxi might have a shot on goal, but instead Park Myung-sung is back to retrieve it over to Kim Yong-il, back to Lee Jin-young. And Lee Jin-young pulls it forward over to Kim Yong-il again. Kim Yong-il, and he bumps a little bit of a kind of floating cross up and over into the penalty area, and that's not bothering anybody, and that's out for a goal kick. Paulson now over to Fan Xiang, back to Mr. Kwon. Fan Xiang now. Fan Xiang, and he's got a couple of men. Does he see him? He sees Han Jin there. Han Jin with a little bit of a excuse me kind of cross, and it's over to Ravaglia, who then scores the goal. Ravaglia is another one of these players who's supposed to be a star player and he's certainly not starting games as if he were a star player. The problem that we have run into here is that we were able right from the start to go out and buy a bunch of really good players. We had a poor club, and so when they were going to come over, they took a look at our club and said, hey, I need to be a star. I'm much better than everything else you've got. And the issue is that not everybody can be a star. Mr. Kwon now over to Han Jin. This is the reason why it's better to sign young players who don't have expectations. Over to Para, back to Park Myung-sung, over to Kim Yong-il. Kim Yong-il with kind of a wild shot on it. Kim Yong-il is also a star player, and I don't think he's been playing much like one at all. And I say that in part because I'd like to see a good performance from him, and usually when I call him out, he performs for me. So let's see what happens. Para now. Para over to Kim Yong-il. Kim Yong-il moves it forward. Kim Yong-il back to Para. Kim Yong-il with it again, and that was ill-advised. Again, we're rushing a little bit more than we really need to. I mean, especially with a 2-0 lead, we can hold back a little bit. Kim Yong-il now, and I guess he's onside. Yeah, no flag coming up. Takes that himself. He could have passed. I think taking it himself that time was the right decision. Kim Yong-il now with the corner. And I was going to say, is Han Jin fouled? And it looks like he wasn't. And so it's out for a throw. And we'll take a look at this again. And Jonovic holding up play, which is exactly what I wanted to see. Lee Jin-young over to Kim Yong-il, who looks offside to me. And he does take that himself. That was the right decision. I will say that Kim Yong-il has a little bit of a problem with inconsistency. He also doesn't like big matches, which, I mean, this isn't a big match. We're much better than Shanxi Longjing, but that might help explain some of the poor play that you're seeing from him. Kim Yong-il really is a signing that I kind of regret, especially because it made Huang Bo-en so mad. And Hwang Bo-won, honestly, is a better player, I think, right now and has the potential to be better. Lee Jin-young now with the corner. And Ravaglia almost knocks that one in with his head, and the goalie somehow gets around to that and makes the stop. Para now, back to Kim Yong-il, back to Jonovic, over to Park Myung-sung. Jonovic loves those North Koreans, doesn't he? And unfortunately, we're unable to get the cross into anyone. Fanshang now over to Kim Yong-il again. I don't know how many shots on goal he's had here in the game. I presume that that's going to help with his match rating, which I guess is good for him. But we need to see goals, not just shots on goal. I mean, that was a fairly well played pass. It was good for him to get around onto that, but I kind of would like to see him pull that one down and get a shot on goal and something he has control over. Jonovic now, see if he goes to North Korean here. Jonovic over to Lee Jin-young to a South Korean. Well, maybe he can't tell the difference. Over to Park Myung-sung, over to Han Jin, who has a header that goes up and over the goal. And there's another goal kick. Only 2-0 for Yanbian FC so far. Of course, Shanxi Longjing haven't had a single shot on goal, much less a shot on target. And their goalie kicks it over, and Paulson is winning everything in midfield. Over to Han Jin, to Kim Yong-il. And a forward pass over to Han Jin, and that's a pretty adventurous pass from Kim Yong-il. And it's Lee Jin-young now, and he just sets it up for Mr. Kwon, who gets the goal, 13th of the season for Kwon Hyuk-kyu. And he's playing in one of our two defensive midfielder roles. And the impressive thing about Kwon Hyuk-kyu is that he's, I think, third on the team now for goals scored, playing out of that role way down in the back. So very, very well done so far by Mr. Kwon. We kind of hope that he doesn't go, but it just might be that he's so upset with me that he will wind up leaving anyway. We'll see what happens. It's not that easy. You can win all the games, but in Football Manager, at some point in time, the morale problems will catch up with you. We'll take a quick look here and see what we're looking like in terms of fatigue, and it doesn't look like there are many fatigue problems at all, so we'll just go on forward and see what the second half has for us. 3-0 for Yanbian so far. We're playing well. And it's, I was about to say Para about to win the ball in midfield. Not sure what he's doing so far back. But in the end, he's not able to win it, and that's not really why we have him. Hoyu now back to Park Myung-sung. I presume that means that Shanxi Longjing actually had a shot on goal, which would be a change. Park Myung-sung now back to Jonovic again, over to Mr. Kwon. Mr. Kwon now looking forward, and he tries to thread the needle to Ravaglia, nothing happening. Jonovic now back to Lee Jin-young. Lee Jin-young over to Kim Yong-il, back to Park Myung-sung. And Park Myung-sung has got a couple of guys for a cross if he wants it. He does loop a cross over to Han Jin, and that cross just about eluded everybody's head. It wasn't the best of crosses from Park Myung-sung, but we'll take it. And Jonovic completely muffs the header. Shanxi has a shot on goal, but it looks like Fanshang is able to get around onto that, and that ends their attempt. And XG there of 0.01 for Shanxi, so we're still dominating this match. Lee Jin-young now, and you can see Football Manager's having some problems here. I have it set on medium, and we're still having some troubles for whatever reason. I'm not sure if this is, again, from Proton or from Sports Interactive or exactly what. Almost an own goal there by Shanxi, and we're going to, my apologies, we're going to pause this here really quickly. We're going to change our graphics setting back down to low so that we can have a match that's actually watchable. You never quite know. So I'm running this on Linux, so you know I've got Proton Experimental running with Steam. And from time to time, things like this happen, and I don't know if it's because of the latest Proton Experimental update or if it's because of OBS or exactly what's happening. But as you can see, we go down to low graphical quality. It's hard to tell much of a difference, and things look like they're smoother. Kim Yong-il now. Kim Yong-il over here on the right side. Moves it forward, and again, trying to take it himself instead of passing. He needs to learn how to pass and be more of a team player. I mean, this is really kind of a troubling thing to see from him because, I mean, he's quadruple teamed by this point. There's no opening at all, but we have Ravaglia here who are just almost completely wide open. Just a little pass to them, and is 4-0 for us. So I don't like what I've been seeing so far. Para not having a good game after his 4 goals yesterday, which also has me concerned about some consistency problems. Lee Jin-young now brings it forward over to Mr. Kwon, back to Paulson. Mr. Kwon at least isn't going to just try to do it all himself. He's a good passer. Mr. Kwon takes it himself that time, though, and that was a corner that he won I guess we'll take that. I don't know. I mean, we didn't really need that. Lee Jin-young now with the corner. And it's over to Mr. Kwon looking for a header on goal. And I don't think he scored a single header from corners so far this season. We could look it up. But he hasn't struck me as playing particularly well when given those corner situations. And this is another one of these matches where it looks like we're going to have a small margin of victory. No 10-0 today. Park Myung-sung over to Para. Back to Han Jin, who has a blast at it, and that one goes up and over. I mean, we do want him taking those, but... yeah, that wasn't necessarily a shot that needed to be taken in that situation. I mean, Para has it there for Han Jin, and as you can see, we got 3 guys running forward right on the other side. You might as well pass it one more time and get a goal instead of shooting it and getting a goal kick. And this match is slowly coming to an end. Less than spectacular performance from us, and we're going to have to rely, I think, on Hwang Bo-wen for this game against Tianjin tomorrow. Jonovic now over to Kim Yong-il, back to Lee Jin-young. Lee Jin-young forward to Para. Para over to Kim Yong-il, and he's got so much goal in front of him. It's acres and acres of space, and he still misses it. So, yeah, I have a feeling that here in January, when January does come around, that Kim Yong-il may find himself loaned out because I don't think that if he keeps playing this way, he has much of a future here at this club. He's done well. He's scored a goal, and he's got an assist, but we're seeing a lot of play from him that has me worried when we move up the ranks, and that was Ravaglia there just barely missing one. That was a pretty good attempt, a pretty creative attempt, that is. And that ends the match. And so it is today. Yanbian FC win 3-0 against Shanxi Longjing, a match that, I mean, we knew we were always going to win. My only problem here is that we really could have scored more goals than 3, I think, but we'll call that good. And I was saying the wrong thing there. Kim Yong-il actually had nothing today, no goals, no assists, so nothing for him, and the worst rating out of anyone on our squad. Changes are coming, but it's going to take probably a couple weeks before they come in. And anyway, thank you very much. I will talk with you more tomorrow. See you then. Bye.